The brothers were like, let's not get married. Why don't we all just like be together? We'll just be like a unit. And Katharine's like, maybe I'll meet someone I actually like. Like, you guys are my brothers, and I don't really feel like that about you guys, and I don't think I should feel like that about you guys. And they're like, no. Let's just stick together and be like a thing.
Hello, I am Paget Brewster, and today we are going to talk about the Kellogg Brothers. In 1876, Dr. John Kellogg created a sanitarium in Battle Creek, Michigan, except he was an orator in the Seventh-day Adventist Church. He tells his patients, no sex, no meat, no alcohol, no sugar, no anything prurient or sensual. Aren't you guys tired?
Well, can I? All right.
He tells his patients, you need to take at least 2 solid, ropey poops per day. In 1880, Dr. John reaches out to his younger brother, Will, who he beat up the whole time he was growing up, and he says, hey, leave that broom company. I got this, sanitarium, spa thing. There's over 1,000 people a week here hanging out, swimming and doing stuff. You should just come and, help me out with everything. And Will says, okay, I gotta get the out of here. Will, he's just sort of this sad little whipping boy for his big famous brother, John. He actually said, I use my brother as a foot warmer in the winter. I don't even know what that means. Like, he beat him up and he stuck his feet under him anyway, he has to shave him. He actually has to call his own brother, Dr. Kellogg, and has to run the kitchen and has to run the books. So Dr. John tells his younger brother, Will, hey, make something that people want to eat because no one wants vegetarian food. So you do this, because I'm busy. I gotta, do lectures and stuff. So Will, whose bookkeeping office is next to the kitchen, one night he's trying to make this stupid vegetarian shit. He leaves the dough out. He comes in the next morning, and the dough that he left out has molded. And he's like, oh, God damn it. This is moldy. I'm on a budget. And he puts it through the grinder anyway, and the small amount of mold made that dough flakes, corn flakes. And he's like, I made a cereal. So he tells John comes down, and then they start producing this cereal, cornflakes, like cornflakes that we all know, that Will discovered with mold. One week, C.W. Post, this industrialist, is visiting, and John says, oh, you should see the cornflakes we're making. We're making our own cereal. And Will is saying, oh, no, don't. I made that. Don't you say, and I'm not talking right altogether, but close enough. C.W. Post steals it, sells it, makes $1 million. So Will's like, you, man, you me, you us. If we add sugar, we can sell this cereal. And John says, you can't put sugar on it. That's not Seventh-day Adventist. Who do you think you are? Will says, oh, you know who I think I am? I think I'm the guy who invented cornflakes. I'm gonna put sugar on them and sell them and you. So he takes his cereal and he sets up the Kellogg Toasted Flakes Company. Will makes it a $1 million enterprise. He's like, I'm putting sugar on my you. The younger brother now finally comes out of his older brother's shadow and becomes a huge American industrialist. The brothers sue each other back and forth for 10 years. I want the name of Kellogg's. I want the name of Kellogg's. I want the name of Kellogg's. No, I deserve it. I made the whatever. So Will, this younger brother, wins the name in federal court. I'm gonna burp.
It's okay.
I hope it's just a burp. Will is a huge industrialist in the United States. He invents a bunch of cereals. Meanwhile, John loses all credibility. In 1943, John is on his deathbed. He writes to his younger brother, having not spoken for the past 20 years, and he gave it to his social secretary or whatever. He had no family. His only family was Will. She never sent it. But Will, 8 years later, also dying, blind, was told on his deathbed, your brother wrote a letter 8 years ago saying, I'm sorry. I screwed up. I apologize. I treated you as a lesser man when in fact I was the lesser man. Essentially, that's what he said. I read it, but I can't remember entirely, but that's essentially what he said. Sorry. Will sat up on his deathbed and said, good God, why didn't anyone tell me about this before now? And he died. That's just awful.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Yeah, but, right? Like, Will was right. You want to put some sugar on him.
Yeah, it is like.
Otherwise, it's just mold.
Oh.
Mold flakes. I'm good.
How's it going? I'm Hollywood's J.D. Riznar, and today we're going to talk about the Fox Sisters and all the ghosts they talk to.
I'm gonna prove you wrong tonight.
So, our story begins in the 1840s in a small farmhouse of the Fox family. And it's a spooky house. They hear sounds at night and knocks on the door, phantom steps on the stairs. And young Maggie and Katie Fox run into their parents' room and say, Mom, Dad, there's a frickin' ghost in our room. You gotta come check it out. And the mom runs into the room and the girls are like, Ghost, are you there? Tap, rap, ghost, are you there? Rap 2 times for yes, 3 times for no. And the ghost goes. And the mom's like, oh my, holy smokes, it's a ghost in our house. What they learned from the rapper, once they figured out a special code, was that this ghost was a peddler who was murdered and buried in their cellar. And the mom, she starts bringing neighbors over, and everybody was like, oh my, these girls can talk to ghosts, to the spirits of the dead. This is the real deal. So, fearing for their daughter's souls, Ma and Pa Fox sent Meg and Katie off to live with their sister Leah in Rochester, New York. And when Leah saw their skills with communicating to ghosts, she was like, I'm gonna be your manager. We're gonna make a lot of money. So she invites the press, and the press comes, and they're skeptical. They're like, these ghost girls can't talk to ghosts. This is garbage. But Maggie and Katie are so good, they convince the press, like, your sister had 3 dead babies. And he's like, my sister has 3 dead babies. I believe you. And all of a sudden, everybody believes it. And the Fox sisters were the first people ever to be called mediums. And so this new thing called spiritualism lights a blaze across the United States of America. But wait, stop the reenactment, because guess what, Derek Waters? It's all bullshit. You ever see Wayne's World?
Of course I've seen Wayne's
This is
World.
what they do when they do a flashback. We're gonna do one now. This is gonna be good. Make the picture look wavy. So here's what really happened. Maggie and Katie are pulling pranks on their parents on April Fool's Eve. The girls are tying apples to strings and making sounds up the stairs. Boop, 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 boop. Katie says to Maggie, you know how you can snap your toes like you snap your fingers, you should do that and they'll think it's the ghosts because they're dumb. So they were cracking their toe knuckles and snapping their toes like this. And that was the raps the ghosts made. These little kids were f***ing with their mom. Next thing they knew, they're making money. But Maggie says to Katie, like, hey, this is not quite a good idea because we're kind of fooling people into this. And Katie's like, we should keep doing this because this is fun. We're making people believe anything they want. We're making people feel good. It's 1888. Once the girls got super rich, ripping people off with their fancy ghost stories, they're just drinking booze and talking to each other, going like, I feel so shitty that we're ripping people off, making them feel good about talking to dead people. And so Maggie sells tickets to a show at a theater where she's gonna expose spiritualism as a fraud. People file in, they're like, let's hear what has happened. So Maggie takes the stage at this theater and is like, here's how we do it. And she takes off her stocking and she's like, I click my toes like this. Blah, blah, blah. I can't do it. If I could do it, I'd be making $1,000 a week as a stupid medium, making people think they're talking to their dead babies. Boop, boop, boop. Give me $1,000. Boop, boop, boop. Give me another $1,000. Boop, boop. I'm rich. Maggie gives this big presentation. She gives away all her secrets. And at the end of her speech, she says, spiritualism is the greatest curse mankind has ever known. And the audience is like, her, we like talking to ghosts. Spiritualism has taken off to that point. And so basically what Maggie Fox has done is made her and her sisters irrelevant. So after Maggie realizes that her life is nothing when she's not a medium, she just drank a bunch of booze till she died. Decades later, after the girls were dead, after it was all over, sometime in the 1900s, the early 1900s, some fan of theirs was snooping around the foundation of their old farmhouse and found some bones. The bones of the ghost they were initially talking to.
Oh, shit.
A lot of people said it was chicken bones and other bones, so it was not really... Can't really take a lot out of it, but maybe it's the bones of people. I don't know. It might be real, it might be fake. I don't know. I just crossed some sort of drunken threshold.
Hello, I'm Mike Still, and today we're going to talk about the Kopp Sisters, the original lady badasses. Oh. So our story starts in 1914 in Paterson, New Jersey, and Constance Kopp and her sisters, Norma and Florette, go out to lunch. They're eating sandwiches and 1914 drinks, and all of a sudden they hear this loud noise. Beep, beep. So their horse and carriage cart was smashed by an automobile. Who was driving this automobile? It was Henry Kaufman. He was a mean little guy who owned the Paterson Silk Dyeing Corporation. Constance comes out and she's like, yo, what the f happened to my buggy? Ah, I don't know. Who cares? You're a woman. I'm Henry Kaufman, I'm the king of silk. I'm not gonna worry about some horse and buggy bullshit. You. So he drives off in his car. But Constance was just like, no, we're not gonna let this guy walk over us. We're going to email, we're gonna write him a letter and say, give me 50 bucks, give us 50 bucks. So they go to their farm and she sends a letter to Henry Kaufman. Doesn't hear a response. So a few weeks go by and a brick goes through their farmhouse window. Oh my God, what's that? I don't know, a brick. Who would have do it? I don't know. A week later, Norma went out to the outhouse behind the farmhouse, and bam, bam! She was getting shot at. She runs back inside. Guys, I was trying to take a dump, and I was getting shot at. So the Kopp sisters are starting to get so pissed off about this. So they go to the county prosecutor, and they say, look, we're getting harassed, we're getting threatened. You need to help us out here. You need to send some people over to our farm. He's like, I don't know, I don't believe you. There's no proof, there's no proof. But the sheriff of Bergen County, Robert Heath, overheard what they were talking about. And Sheriff Heath was like, I'll help you, little ladies. I'll teach you how to help yourself. So Sheriff Heath gives all three of the Kopp sisters a gun. So he taught them how to use the guns. Aim up, aim at your target. He let them hold the guns and kiss guns, whatever you do to guns. And that's a fact. So the media heard about the Kopp sisters, and they became a sensation. So you think these people would give up, like these ladies are armed, they're dangerous. No, the Kopp sisters got an extortion letter, and it said, bring $1,000 to the corner of Broadway and Carroll and meet a man in black. We know where you live. We're gonna kill your farm and kill the cows and kill you. And we're gonna murder you. We're gonna smash you up. Signed, H.K. and Company. Which, that's Henry Kaufman. That's his initials. Like, it's clearly Mr. Silk himself. So Constance wasn't gonna have this. She's like, I'm taking this in my own hands. So she goes to the corner of Broadway and Carroll, and the man in black shows up, but she's not alone. She has backup from Sheriff Heath. And he's like, and then he realizes the jig is up and he runs. And Sheriff Heath's like, go, go, go! And they capture him, and they're like, well, how do we prove it was Henry Kaufman? New science, handwriting analysis. They hired William J. Kingsley to examine the handwriting. And William J. Kingsley said, oh my God, this is the same as Henry Kaufman. We know that he is the criminal that went after the Kopp sisters. And because it was his handwriting and he used the post office, it became a federal crime. And he went to jail for abusing the mail. So Constance Kopp brought down this kingpin everyone was scared of in New Jersey. And Sheriff Heath was so impressed, he said, well, Henry Kaufman's under arrest, and I want you to be under sheriff of Bergen County. She became America's first female sheriff. And then the Kopp sisters started their own detective agency, and they solved cases and they found out they were crimes and everything. So Constance's achievements, wait, so wait a second. She did, sorry. So Constance's achievements became world-renowned. So when Constance passed away, everyone's very sad.
The others, did they continue as detectives?
They didn't continue as detectives. Florette was really into like fashion and music and singing and stuff. And you know her as Madonna. No, that's not true. That's not true.
Oh boy, I love to be happy. Why else am I here? I'm Jenny Slate, and today we are going to talk about the Cherry Sisters, the worst act on vaudeville. Ever. Ever. The very worst. Our story begins in the 1890s. The Cherry Sisters were living on a farm in Iowa that had been left to them. Their names were Ella, Elizabeth, Effie, Addie, and Jesse. They had a brother, Nathan, and he just pieced out. He was like, actually, definitely not. I'm not like even doing this. And all the sisters were like, boo! What the hell? or heck, actually, because they were very prim. They're like, our farm's gonna fail. We truly don't get how to do this, and we don't have enough money to operate the farm. Let's just try to get money from that, buy for that. Am I right? And they were all like, yeah, right. Let's put on a show. So they like rented out a theater. These sisters were just like, we're putting on a play. The play is going to consist of a lot of segments that are boring and also will make you feel nervous about what you're doing in your life. So it would be like, there's a young lady just like free in the world, how dangerous. And then a Don Juan comes out and he's like, ugh, I want you for sex, you know? And then a gypsy woman would come out and she'd be like, don't do it, don't, because he's gonna take your morality. And like, that was like the whole thing. And it was like baffling to everyone. They were like, I can't believe these ladies showed up and like even are here and like did this. After they were done, they were so shocked because they were like, this is an ass load of money. They made $250. So the Cherry Sisters, they were like, we should take this on the road, even though it was really, really, really bad. So they went on the road all across Iowa. They did a show in Cedar Rapids. One of their songs was called Corn Juice. Corn juice! Let me tell you about it. It's just like, what are you talking about? You definitely can't make juice out of corn. Like, I've had it.
Yeah.
There's no juice in there. 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're lost in your corner, we'll find juice. Corn after juice. Beautiful. Everyone's like, you suck. So the next day, the newspaper was like, this is a bad show. These ladies truly don't know what's up. You probably shouldn't see this show unless you want to see it because it's so very bad that it's like kind of confusing all of us. And they marched right down to the Cedar Rapids Gazette. And they were like, how dare you say this? And the Cedar Rapids Gazette was like, what? You're like incredulous? You can't like understand why we said this? And they're like, you know what? We're gonna sue you for libel. And the newspaper is like, that's actually hilarious. But if you want to sue us, you're gonna have to sue us during your show. And so they did. They got a real judge to sit there being like, ooh, like order, order. I'll be the judge of how bad they are, plus newspaper, you telling the truth. And at the end, the editor of the newspaper was found guilty and sentenced to marry one of the 5 sisters. Yeah. So sad. So after this, they toured all the time. It was kind of the first like, it's so bad it's good situation. Groups of people were like, the Cherry Sisters are coming to town. Let's get together, all the people that we know and like, buy a shitload of vegetables and find a lot of cans so that we can throw them at them. And this was a sketch that they did. They sat in a bathtub and they were like, don't get horny, be careful, because this is like arms. But you have to be careful because if you show your forearm to someone, their penis could go inside of you.
And you die.
And then you'll die of being cool. People would be like, you suck. So after the sisters had really been on the scene for a while, just stinking it up consistently, this man named Oscar Hammerstein, he had a theater and he was like, well, I've tried all the best shit there. Maybe I'll try the worst. So he got in touch with the Cherry Sisters and he's like, listen, we'll bring you to New York. You can do whatever you want. We'll pay you $100 a week. 4 of them were like, yep, okay, yes. And then like the 5th one was like, no. She stayed there like whatever, brushing the pigs or whatever you do on a farm. And they went to New York and everyone was like, you're the worst. You're horrible. What a weird thing. And they sold out. 10 weeks, sold out show. And they made a lot of money. And then, you know, they went home and then they died in obscurity. But that's what we think. That's not what they thought. And honestly, what they thought is kind of all that matters. Don't you think?
Aw, that was nice.
Thanks, Derek.
That was really nice.
Well, I'm an American woman and I love corn juice.
Hello, I'm Lauren Lapkus, and today we're going to discuss the Wright brothers and the Wright sister. Am I right? Okay, so everyone's really familiar with the Wright brothers. Everyone knows about their planes and their whole thing, but they didn't know that there's a younger sister, Katharine. So basically, our story begins in 1874 in Dayton, Ohio. And basically, she and Orville and Wilbur were like best friends. They do like all kinds of old-timey activities that were fun for people then. Like they would collect bones and sell them to fertilizing plants.
Classic thing to do.
You know, classic like bone collecting. And they made a pact together that they were never gonna get married. Like the brothers were like, let's not get married. Why don't we all just like be together? We'll just be like a unit. And Katharine's like, maybe I'll meet someone I actually like. Like you guys are my brothers and I don't really feel like that about you guys and I don't think I should feel like that about you guys. And they're like, no. Let's just stick together and be like a thing. She's like, fine, I guess. And then basically like the brothers started getting really into the idea of manned flight. And so they're like, I don't care about school. I'm gonna work on my planes. And it's like, I wanna work on my planes too. I wanna work on planes with you. I love you. And Katharine was like, I believe in you. And they didn't graduate high school. They were just really focused on the whole plane situation. So meanwhile, Katharine graduated from Oberlin College in 1898. So she was very like smart and successful in her own right.
Oh, man.
I didn't want to do that, but I had to.
Okay.
So when she graduates from college, Orville's like, I have a present for you. It's a diamond ring. She's like, okay, are you proposing to me or what is it? No, it's like a brother-sister thing. Like it's just like a ring. Like we'll just be like, it's like our pact. And she's like, okay, it's kind of weird, but I guess I'll wear it until I meet someone. He's like, no, you'll never meet anyone. She's like, I might meet someone. He's like, you want me to do it? Oh, I just spilled all over the couch of myself.
That's okay.
Okay, moving right along. So in 1901, Orville and Wilbur build the Wright glider, and they go to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and they're like, we're gonna fly the first plane ever. But then it goes really horribly. It like falls apart. It was a complete disaster. And basically, they had a horrible time. So basically, they're just like, forget this. Like, this is a nightmare. Like, I'm never gonna be good at this. Not within 1,000 years will man ever fly a plane. And Katharine's like, you guys gotta believe in yourselves. No one's ever done this. Why would you think it would work perfectly the first time? You have to try again. And also, let me help you because I'm smarter than both of you. And so they got reinvigorated. And basically, they decided they're gonna fly planes again.
You have to drink every time you say basically, no rule.
Okay. So their family had a bicycle shop, and so like they were working in this shop, trying out all these different ways to make planes. And Katharine's like, let's look at research from other people who've done this before. Like, you guys you're just making it up at this point. She's like translating from German, all these languages, and she's like, this says, you need to fly like this, you have to go and make the wings like bigger, or make the wings like taller and go and believe in it more and all this stuff. And they created a whole new plane together. And so basically,
Oh, you gotta drink, basically.
oh shit. Okay, so December 17th, 1903, they tried again at Kitty Hawk, and Orville Wright powered the first flight 20 feet above the ground. And it's epic. And I don't like the word epic, but I said it here because it's accurate. It's a really big deal. They have like 700 successful flights. They're up and they're down, they're all over the place. So like, Katharine flies in the plane for the first time ever. And she was like, I feel like a bird, and birds are so happy, and birds sing because they're happy. So Wilbur's like, we couldn't have done it without you. I love you. So then, years later, Katharine is like, all right, this, I'm getting married. I'm 52, I might as well get married at this point. I feel like the pact is over. Meanwhile, Orville's like, no, the pact's not done. I hate you, I'm not gonna speak to you ever again. And she's like, whatever, I have this dude now and I don't really care if you don't talk to me anymore. And they like make out in front of Orville, and it's really rude. That's so dumb.
It's really rude.
It's so rude. Orville's like, damn, this blows. We all have known about Orville and Wilbur for as long as we all have lived. But if they didn't have Katharine, they wouldn't have had the belief in themselves and have confidence, and they wouldn't have had the ability to translate things to know how things really work. There's always someone else behind the scenes who's helping people. No, maybe that's not true. I take it back. But sometimes there is.
You got that right.
You got that right.
You got the right one, baby. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.